We are back in Glen Burnie, Maryland. That means one thing. It is time for Ballroom Boxing. Hi again, everybody. I'm Larry Michael. Great to be back with my friend, Jon Saraceno. You know, we've seen Manuel Rodriguez in the Ballroom now a couple times, John, and he is on a meteoric rise up the ratings. Tonight's opponent, Ortega, is but a sidelight. Rodriguez needs to win if he wants to keep on this roll.
Well, they've got Rodriguez moving up very fast. He's got big things scheduled for him, Larry, down the road. He's fighting a guy, Ortega, out of Colombia. They don't know a lot about him, but he's a tough southpaw. Got disqualified his last 2 fights.
Are you ready for this action?
Let's roll.
All right, when we return, our first fight is in the ring. It's time for Ballroom Boxing. Ballroom Boxing is brought to you by Toyota, by Geico Direct, by Budweiser, the king of beers, and by 0to80.com outlet for e-business. Welcome back to the Ballroom. This is going to wrap up our schedule for the summer. Ballroom Boxing back in the fall. Up next, welterweights in the ring, and our own heavyweight Pat O'Malley to introduce him.
The Maryland State Athletic Commission Chairman Carl A. Milligan Jr., Executive Director Patrick Pinello, and Ballroom Boxing of Glen Burnie, promoters Scott Wagner and matchmakers Chris Middendorf and Josh Hall present this 4-round bout in the welterweight division. Introducing the boxers. First, to my right in the blue corner, weighing 148 3/4 pounds, from Reisterstown, Maryland, with a record of 3-9-1, 3 via the KO. Please welcome Matt Diamond Hill. To my left, out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with the white letters, weighing 146 1/4 pounds, from Washington, D.C., with a record of 4-2-1, 1 via the KO. Please welcome Melvin Bad to the Bone Jones.
26-year-old Melvin Jones going against 32-year-old Matt Hill here tonight in the Ballroom. Jon Saraceno, take a look at the matchup.
Well, the biggest number, or the smallest number that jumps out, Matt Hill's height, a reported 5'2". Melvin Jones, a reported 5'9.5". That means Larry did not have a tape measure to verify that.
Tell you what, Matt Hill is just ripped physically. His record, however, the Diamond's record, leaves a little to be desired. He is 9-3-1.
Almost cubic zirconia-like, if you will.
John, of course, very familiar with that type of jewelry.
With imitation gems.
Are you listening, Mrs. Saraceno? Matt Hill going right after Melvin Jones here in round 1. Matt Hill has lost his last 5, 3 by knockout.
Punch out, let's go, punch out.
Melvin Jones has lost his last fight back in February of this year to a very tough Demetrius Hopkins. Matt Hill throwing wide punches, as is Melvin Jones.
Keep your head up, Matt.
Now, the height disadvantage certainly is something that Matt Hill would like to overcome by getting inside.
Matt Hill may be the shortest fighter I've ever seen in a fight. I mean, I know there are shorter fighters, but I don't know if I've ever called a fight with a guy 5'2".
This fight is scheduled for 4 rounds in the welterweight division.
He's like a little mighty might though in there, isn't he? He's holding his ground, and he's got, he's got very big legs, Larry, for a guy 5'2". His calves are very muscular.
Of his 3 wins, all have come by knockout.
I'll see if these two can settle down here a little bit in what's been kind of a wild first round.
Melvin Jones has 1 knockout out of 4 wins. So, as usual, an evenly matched fight here in the Ballroom.
Come on, let's stop his hold and box.
Matt Hill only has a 67.25 inch reach.
Gary Kempeneshi is the referee. Now, Gary improves as a referee. We talk about the fighters. He seems to improve every fight. He's really become a very fine referee. Big overhand right by Matt Hill.
Break. Matt, step back on a break.
Matt Hill continuing to move forward to show that aggression. here in the first round.
You know, when you think about it over the years doing the Ballroom Boxing Series, when it comes to the scoring, the officiating, the judging, we don't really have too many complaints. They really have been very good.
Very solid refereeing and judging. I can't remember the last real bad decision we've had. And of course, boxing certainly known for that.
Watch your heads.
Unfortunately.
Oh, that's part of the lure and mystique to it, isn't it?
Step back. Box.
You made the wrong decision at the buffet line. That's the only bad decision I've seen around here.
These guys are fighting in a phone booth, as they used to say right now. And Hill does want to be on the inside because he's a shorter guy.
You know, Scott Wagner told us, don't be misled by Hill's record. He's in fantastic condition. He's one of these guys, and we've seen him before start poorly, get a losing record, then somehow find their way above the 500 mark and becoming legitimate professional fighters. Round one is in the books. We'll be back. Action from round one as Jones and Hill did battle. Hill kind of slips off with that left hand. If he had scored solidly, might have been a good punch. Perfect opportunity for us right now with one round in the record books to bring in the third man of our crew, the incomparable Jon Scheinman. Jon.
Shucks, thanks, Larry. I got Matt Hill winning this fight 10-9. I thought he took the fight to Melvin Jones really well in the first round. I've seen a lot of his fights, haunting the Baltimore boxing scene. And the problem that he's had with these last 5 fights that he's lost is that he's faced guys with a lot of power. And in Melvin Jones, that's not the case tonight. So I think we're going to see a better chance for Matt Hill to get the win.
Just as Jon was giving that opinion, Melvin Jones scored with a big right hand. Round two underway. Round two brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers.
Matt Hill is fighting with a vengeance and a sense of purpose here, Larry. You could just see the way he's digging his shots into Melvin Jones's ribs. Gary Campanishi calls the time. We have looks like a tape problem on Jones's gloves. And we're back. I think Hill senses that Jones really can't hurt him. So he's taking the fight to him, which is kind of unusual in a sense.
Good left hand by Hill. He's beginning to gain some confidence. Got to get a little closer, though, with those power shots. About Hill, he wants to get inside, but I don't think he can really score inside.
Well, he hit him with some good left hooks in the first round. I also gave him the round 10-9. But that's what Melvin Jones has to do. He's got to get the jab going, but he's been unable to keep Hill off of his chest in the first round and a half. And the key, one of those keys, Larry, is to punch first with the jab. Don't wait for Hill to advance to him.
Sharp right hand by Jones, beginning to find a little bit of rhythm. I think if Hill does slow down, if he does slow down, it's just perfect for Jones to take advantage.
Jones is more of a sharpshooter, but not a big puncher.
Step back, Matt. Step back.
And Hill's trying to take advantage of it. Campanishi
stepped on Hill's foot.
Yeah,
there.
Inadvertently stepped on his foot.
It's an illegal move, Jon.
Yeah, he was wondering why he wasn't stepping back. He was stepping on my foot, man. This is only a 4-round fight.
Both guys showing, they're very busy, showing good conditioning here. Neither man taking a step back.
Box. Come on, let him go. Stop holding.
Check out which one of these two welterweights is in better condition.
You see how chiseled Hill is.
Doesn't always translate into cardiovascular conditioning.
See, Jones keeps waiting for Hill to come to him.
Hill comes diving in behind that jab, Jon, and it's going to be a clash of heads.
And the referee warned both fighters between rounds about that.
Round two winding down. Check us out on the web, www.ballroomboxing.com. Round three is next. Welcome back to the Ballroom. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Round three brought to you by Geico Direct Auto Insurance. In the ring right now, two welterweights. In the white shoes, it is Matt Hill, and in the black shoes, it is Melvin Jones. It's really been a very competitive battle, Jon. Both men having their moments. So it's just about a square even fight at the midway point. What do you think?
Well, I scored the last round even. I've got Hill up by a point. It's been a close fight, but Hill is doing a lot of grabbing on the inside. He's really not allowing Jones to fight when they get inside. And that time, Jones has Hill's left arm locked up.
See, Hill's footwork is all over the place. Crossing his feet as he goes across the ring. A little blood from the nose of Melvin Jones.
This has turned into a real battle for Jones here.
It's a good fight so far.
Against a fighter who came in with a 3-9-1 record and only 3 knockouts.
Again, deceptive record. Got a little blood now from the left eye of Melvin Jones. I say a little, it's in a bad place. It's right in the corner of his eye, right under the eye, and now Gary Campaneschi.
That corner, back up. Some tape.
We have a tape situation here on the left glove of Melvin Jones.
Hey, nothing.
Good opportunity to remind those fans viewing that we are seeing coast to coast on Comcast Sports Network, New England Sports Network, the Sunshine Network, on the Dish DirecTV and the Dish Network. Ballroom Boxing coast to coast. Check us out.
We're making a good show for yourselves.
So listening in, some of the behind the scenes stuff going on there is Gary Campaneschi, kind of the referee giving a pep talk to the fighter. How about that, John?
I like that, actually.
Hurry up, Jake.
I like the referee to be involved a little bit.
No instructions, just
Encourage the fighters.
Encouraging them that they're doing a good job, which is, I'm sure, making Mr. Melvin Jones feel good.
No instructions.
Campaneschi's got to have eyes in the back of his head. Warned the other corner.
How can he control that?
Of Jones not to give instructions, which happens all the time.
Just wrap it around there a couple good times.
It's a very humid night in the Baltimore-Washington area, and
good,
inside
Jake.
here in the ballroom,
Back to the corner.
the juices are beginning to flow, you might say.
Time in.
And then some.
We give both men a chance to catch their breath. Here in round 3, this fight scheduled for 4 rounds. A very close fight.
Hey, watch your heads.
I wonder if that cut eye came as a result of a headbutt.
Now this has turned into a frenzied fight here.
Nice overhand right by the Diamond.
Wow.
Matt Hill.
Matt Hill's using some illegal tactics. He just gloved Melvin Jones, laced him right across the face. He's getting away with a lot here.
That's what Matt Hill needs to do. I think he needs it to be a war. Melvin Jones has the superior boxing skills.
Wow. Again, they clashed heads on the inside. Now,
solid shot by Hill.
Well, it made a lot of sound, and the crowd thought it was a big shot, but he really cuffed him.
Stop punching, break, break.
Matt Hill doesn't believe in the jab very much, does he? He throws one as he's running in and bum rushing Jones, who's really been very ineffective, Larry, tonight, keeping a smaller, lighter fighter at bay. He's not jabbing enough.
And Hill doesn't take a step back. I mean, he's been coming forward the whole fight. Awkwardly, methodically, same time.
You can't run from a fighter, and that's what Melvin Jones is trying to do.
Round 3 winding down. We'll have 3 minutes left in this welterweight battle when we return to the ballroom in a moment.
Bow, bow, bow.
3 minutes to go in this welterweight confrontation. Matt Hill and Melvin Jones. Both have really put a lot into this fight looking for victory. Who is leading Jon Scheinman with 3 minutes left?
Unofficially, but probably accurately, Matt Hill's ahead 29-28. He definitely stole the 3rd round after the break to fix the tape on the gloves. I mean, he just really started to take the fight again to Melvin Jones. Melvin Jones has done his best work tonight when he's initiated the attack, and he stopped doing it there. It's still up for grabs, though, Larry.
Larry, I've got Hill ahead also.
But neither man, I would think, is comfortably in front in this 4-round fight.
I've actually got Hill ahead by 2 points.
Well, then he is comfortably in front.
Well, yeah, but a knockdown, you got an even fight then.
He has just been imposing his will on top of Melvin Jones. Has not given him any room to punch. Hasn't let Jones box.
He has smothered him very effectively tonight. And Jones really has had no answer. I think Matt Hill knew early on, or realized early on, that Melvin Jones just did not carry any kind of a whack.
Came right through him. This would be a huge win for Matt Hill if he were to take it home.
It stops a big losing streak, doesn't it?
It does.
5 in a row?
Lost his last 5 in a row. And for a guy that's been toiling away like Matt Hill, how sweet would a victory be to break a 5-fight losing streak?
Local product out of Ryerstown, Maryland.
Step back.
Did I pronounce that right?
Reisterstown.
I was close.
It's okay.
I'm showing my Virginia almost roots.
Punch.
Actually, it's the gray roots that you should be aware of.
Yes. Showing those, too.
Good left-hand jab, the first jab of the fight by Matt Hill, and right now, Melvin Jones is in full retreat.
Yeah, well,
a lot of bad body language right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically sending up the white flag on the pole.
Step, punch, and break. Break. Step back. 1 step.
Fourth and final round here in the ballroom, brought to you by www.0280.com.
Melvin Jones did not win. Well, he's not won since last December. Won a 4-rounder, then had a draw and a loss. So he's in a bit of a funk, Larry.
Yes, he is in a certain funk, hoping to break the funk tonight. And Melvin Jones is saying, get the funk out of my face.
Brothers Johnson.
Very good. Very good. Certainly showing our age here tonight.
Yes.
Punch and break. 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 Step back, Matt.
I'll be good to you.
Matt Hill to the very final bell. Matt Hill and Melvin Jones.
All right, let him go. Break. Break. Break.
This fight is going to go to the judges' scorecards tonight. So these two welterweight warriors go the distance. The decision will be next to the ballroom. Don't go away. Action from the fourth and final round as Matt Hill wanted to close the deal tonight, had lost 5 in a row, and he just was pushing and battling Melvin Jones all over the ring tonight here in the ballroom. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. Great to be with you tonight. This fight goes the 4-round distance. Who won? Let's find out from Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. We go to the scorecards for this one. Judge Kenny Chevalier scores it 39-37 Hill. Judge Don Risher scores it 38-38. And Judge Gradowski scores it 39-37. And the winner by majority decision, Matt Diamond Hill.
So Matt Diamond Hill shines tonight in the ballroom. Came in perfect condition. I would agree with the referee, Gary Campaneschi. That was a great 4-rounder for us here in the ballroom. John, would you agree?
I thought it was an interesting fight. I don't think Jones really did enough. I don't even think he was in the fight.
So Matt Hill breaks a 5-fight losing streak with a win here in the ballroom. Let's see how he feels to be a winner again. He's with John Scheinman.
Matt, you come into this fight with Melvin Jones tonight on a 5-fight losing streak. How sweet is this to get the win?
It's very big. It's a giant plus for me, my promoters, and especially my coach. Today's his birthday. Today's his birthday. I wanted to give a little bit something for my boy.
You took the fight to Melvin Jones. Seemed to be a lot of headbutting early on. Is that how you got this cut we see under your left eye?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about your strategy coming in. I mean, it seemed like a classic Matt Hill fight, but you were much more effective. Did you do anything differently than you normally do?
Yes, sir. I was being calm. That's a great difference.
You were letting your hands go. That's what he did better. Let them hands go and he slipped punches.
We got Jake the Snake Smith here, but we got Matt Hill. He's getting a little introspective on us. Let's go back to ringside to Larry and John.
Well, Matt Hill has to be happy breaking a 5-fight losing streak, and I don't care where you're coming from, a win is awesome.
Well, Jones didn't put up much of a fight, but Matt Hill's got to be happy. He broke that streak, lives to fight another day.
We're back in the ballroom. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno, one of our favorite young boxers, the Raging Cajun, is in the ring right now with Pat O'Malley.
The Maryland State Athletic Commission Chairman Carl A. Milligan Jr., Executive Director Patrick Pinella, and Ballroom Boxing of Glen Burnie, Maryland, promoters Scott Wagner and matchmakers Chris Middendorf and Josh Hall present this 4-round bout in the welterweight division. Your referee in charge is Malik Waleed. Judging the bout, Kenny Chevalier, John Gradowski, and Don Risher. Introducing the boxers. First to my right, out of the blue corner, wearing gold with black, weighing 145.5 pounds. He is from Woodbridge, Virginia, making his professional debut. Please welcome Jose Luis Almanzar. To my left, out of the red corner, wearing the red trunks with white, weighing 147.25 pounds, from Laurel, Maryland, with a record of 1-1. Please welcome Cliff, the Raging Cajun Richard.
Seen him before in the ballroom, Cliff Richard. Let's take a look at the matchup for this battle.
Well, the numbers pretty much speak for themselves. The biggest number is probably 0, as Almanzar's number of professional fights.
Of course, we've seen the Raging Cajun before. We saw him have his jaw broken here in the ballroom 2 fights ago, and then he just came back in May of this year with his comeback fight. He is 1-1, the only loss coming from the night he had his jaw broken. Malik Waleed is the 3rd man in the ring for this fight. It is scheduled for 4 rounds in the welterweight division.
Almanzar was reported to be a very good amateur in his day with over 70 fights. We don't have a record, but this is a good test for him.
It's the pro debut for Jose Almanzar. And he takes the southpaw in his pro debut.
Yeah, in fact, if I'm having a fighter make a pro debut, I'm not so sure that I pick Cliff Richard. I mean, really, what's the point? Why would you start off with somebody who could
Keep it clean, keep it clean.
who could fight?
And really, Cliff Richard, even when he had his jaw broken, he didn't go down, he didn't quit. It was a matter of the doctor having to stop the fight. And, you know, really good move in stopping the fight when his jaw was like split in half. But
Boxing fans would be amazed sometimes how cavalierly fights are made between managers and promoters. A little research goes into a match, particularly at the club show level. And sometimes managers making fights, oftentimes they don't see tapes, they just go on somebody's word. Of course, Richard only has a couple of fights,
right?
So there's not a lot of tape on him, and there's none on Almanzar.
Almanzar in the gold trunks. Good right hand by Almanzar, scores on the jaw of Richard on the way in.
When you think of the way other professional sports are conducted and the scouting and the research that goes in when opponents are playing against each other, of course, at the championship level, it should be different. Fighters know each other.
They do get tape, and they do study the tape.
Yeah, theoretically they do. But a lot of fighters don't like to study tape. They just listen to what their trainer had to say about it. Very archaic in a lot of aspects. Here we are in the new millennium.
I missed it. When did that happen?
It was a big party, Larry. You should have been there.
Good. Another stiff right hand by Almanzar, and he ate a left hand on the jab by Richard. See some redness around the eyes of Almanzar.
If Almanzar has butterflies, he's really not showing them.
Clubbing right hand. That's a slip or a push more than anything.
Let's go.
Almanzar's a little over anxious here, but at least he's not tentative about letting his gloves go. But he is running into some shots from Richard.
Keep it clean, keep it clean. Let the arm go.
You are right in the ring with the referee mic'd. Malik Waleed, a little shoulder job there.
Last warning. Let's go. Come on.
Very good warning by referee Malik Waleed on the shoulder by Richard.
Richard trying to work behind that right jab here in round 1, scheduled for 4 rounds tonight in the ballroom. More to come. Round 2 underway. Round 2 tonight here in the ballroom, brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. I'm Larry Michael, along with Jon Saraceno. Another season of boxing action coming to a close with this Ballroom boxing event. Go to the web, www.ballroomboxing.com, and keep an eye on our return in the fall, scheduled in September. The schedule will be posted shortly, and we want to give thanks to the promoter. There's another shoulder or elbow, and he warned him.
That's the last one. Don't lose it here, okay? All right, come on, let's keep it clean. Come on, let's go.
Malik Wali giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I thought he told him last time it was the last warning.
He was just kidding.
Stop punching, stop punching. Okay, go. Keep it clean, keep it clean.
Good body shot by Almanzar, a little low with the second left hand.
What are we going to do all summer without the Ballroom boxing series?
We're going to watch the tapes, John.
Okay, let's go.
Available on www.ballroomboxing.com.
You'll be watching them very closely.
Checking out your performance. Big right hand right on the button by Almanzar. And if there was ever a question about the jaw of the Raging Cajun from that broken jaw a year ago, that was certainly a tester of a punch. Very, very evenly matched battle between Jose Almanzar and Cliff Richard. Almanzar in the gold trunks with a black stripe down the front.
Watch your hands, watch your hands.
So again, it's getting a little rough in there.
Work out of there, work out of there.
Good body work by Cliff Richard.
Let go. Okay.
Left hand by Richard, catching Almanzar on the way in.
Almanzar needs to move to his left a little bit more to get away from Richard's left hand. He's not doing that. He's going right into his left hand.
Get out of there, get out of there.
Richard is scoring on Almanzar on the way in.
Yeah, Almanzar tried to shoot the lead right hand against the southpaw and missed badly with it. Can't forget the jab to southpaw either, Almanzar. You can't give that weapon up either.
A short right hand by Cliff Richard inside.
Almanzar's got to remember to move that head. A little bit too stationary coming forward at times.
Keep it clean, keep it clean.
This is a difficult fight for Almanzar making his pro debut. It really is.
A little blood from the mouth now of Cliff Richard as we are midway through this 4-round bout. Action from round 2 moments ago. Almanzar scores with that straight right hand. That's the punch that scored right on the button midway through this 4-rounder. Jon Scheinman, how do you have it scored?
This is a tough fight to score, but I've got it all even, 19-19. Cliff Richard, I thought, won the first round. He was able to land a lot when Almanzar came forward, but I thought Almanzar's work rate really picked up well in the second round, and I thought he began to take the fight to Richard, and who just didn't respond as much as he had in the first. I got it all even, Larry.
All right, Jon Scheinman, Jon Saraceno, do you concur?
No, I've got Richard winning 2018, but Almanzar did have a much better second round, and it was a close round.
Keep it clean, keep it clean.
Almost through the ropes, Almanzar.
No punching. Let's go.
I mean, Richard's in a fight here. There's no doubt about that.
In case you're wondering, folks, that tattoo on the back of Cliff Richard says Raging Cajun. That's not all it says, but that's all I can make out. Good body work by Almanzar. He goes upstairs afterwards.
Get out of there. Stop punching. Watch your heads.
They're
watch
hitting
your
heads, yep.
Let's go.
That was more Almanzar leading with his head, I think, but Richard is also bending down low.
These guys beginning to develop a dislike for each other here.
They are standing toe-to-toe and letting it fly.
Some blood from the mouth of Almanzar.
Let it on. Stop punching.
Richard now is unable to get Almanzar off of him.
Richard looks like he's in a little bit better condition.
And in this round, Almanzar has picked up his body punching on the inside, and that's slowed Richard down a little bit, Larry.
It has. Richard not punching as much as he was in the first 2 rounds.
A little more defensive.
Nice left hand and a right hand by Almanzar scores.
Let's go.
It's a good shot by Almanzar. Another right hand. Really hurting Cliff Richard right now. He is hurt right now.
He's holding on to Almanzar, clutching his left hand, Almanzar continuing to punch away.
Richard in trouble. He's about to go.
Almanzar's really turned this fight around. It began in that second round. He's really picked up the pace here.
Good body shot by Almanzar. You're right, John. Going to the body kind of started this assault. Richard in some trouble still here in the third round.
Richard now looking like the rookie making his pro debut.
Let's go.
Big sigh from Almanzar. You wonder how much he's got in the tank left. Enough to score more points here in the third round, that's for sure.
Well, now you're seeing the defensive deficiencies of Richard.
Big right hand countered by Richard. Stops that onslaught by Almanzar.
Richard just wants to get through this round, Larry.
Let's go.
He wants to get back on that stool, get refreshed, and come out for the fourth and final round.
Nice jab by Richard. A lot of blood from the nose of the Raging Cajun. We'll be back in a moment. Action from round 3 brought to you by Geico. You see Almanzar pinning the Raging Cajun against the ropes. 3 minutes to go in a very close fight. Jon Scheinman, who's ahead?
Oh, Almanzar is well ahead. I gave him 10-8 that round. Call me a liberal, but I think he just crushed him. I got him up 29-27. Cliff Richard's going to need a knockout to win, Larry.
Hey, no shoulder, no shoulder, no shoulder.
Almanzar coming out strong here in round 4. But Jon Saraceno had Richard up by 2 points after 2 rounds, so you have this fight up for grabs?
I've got it even, because I also scored a 10-8. It was a dominant round by Almanzar. So how the judges scored that second round is going to be a key factor.
Swelling under the left eye of Richard. This is the 4th and final round, so it will not be a factor.
Keep it clean, keep it clean.
Well, Richard needs a huge round here
Let him go.
to even be in the fight.
Another strong right hand. The right hand of Almanzar has been a difference maker starting in the 3rd round.
Richard's legs do not look very strong to me, Larry.
He's kind of ducking right into that right hand of Almanzar.
No punches, let him go. Okay.
Richard really has had no good moments here in the 3rd and 4th round offensively. I don't know if he's really scored with an effective punch.
Now, Richard's really a brawler, and he's been unable after the first round and a half to swarm Almanzar, who had a crushing body attack in that 3rd round.
Work out of there. Let the arm go,
I don't think Almanzar can afford to take anything for granted here in the 4th and final round. Good right hand by Richard. Stopped Almanzar in his tracks.
And a left hand.
It's coming on, Larry. Here comes the Raging Cajun.
Let go. Let's go.
Amateurish right hand there by the rookie Almanzar.
If anybody goes down in this round, it would be huge.
Almanzar began to reach with some of those punches. He's done that throughout the 4 rounds.
This fight winding down. Big solid shot by Almanzar.
That's the best punch of the fight. Richard trying to fight off the ropes, but that may have really, in effect, ended matters for Richard. Let's see if he can come back strong.
Almanzar holding and hitting there.
Get out of there.
Right hand, but Richard didn't go anywhere.
No, he didn't. Question of power. That was flush.
Snapped his head. Hope we can see a replay on that.
We will not see a knockout in this fight tonight. Almanzar being held by Richard, and 4 rounds are history. Very, very tight fight. There is Almanzar right there. He is exhausted in his pro debut. The Raging Cajun, Cliff Richard, looking to run his record to 2-1. The decision is next when we return. Action from the 4th and final round. There it is. Oh, devastating right hand. Cliff Richard held his ground. But was that punch enough to give Almanzar the 4th round? Did he do enough to take this fight in his pro debut? We're going to find out from Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. We go to the judges. Judge Kenny Chevalier scores it 39-37, Almanzar. Judge Don Risher scores it 38 even. And Judge John Gradowski scores it 39-37. The winner by majority decision in his professional debut, Jose Luis Almanzar.
Jose Almanzar victorious in his pro debut tonight here in the ballroom. And before we hear what he has to say, Jon Saraceno, this kid, a young kid, coming in there, 24 years old, his pro debut. What kind of future does he have in the ring?
Well, it's really too early to tell. He obviously has some skills. He had a little bit of anxiety at the beginning. Fought his way back into the fight, though, beginning in the second round, and with a more experienced guy, Cliff Richard.
So Almanzar is a winner tonight in the ballroom. He is standing by with Jon Scheinman.
Jose, you came over here rubbing your left shoulder. What happened to you?
Well, I was doing sparring on Thursday, last Thursday, right? And this guy hit me in my shoulder and just keep hurting him till now.
Did you think about pulling out of your pro debut at all?
No. No, I want to fight. I mean, I'm tired of amateur already, so I'm getting old. I want a pro fight now. I want to fight pro.
Cliff Richard came at you very strong in the first round. He was landing some good right hooks as you came in. And he seemed with that southpaw style to be a lot of trouble for you. How did you adapt in the second round to take over the fight?
I see it when every time he step in, he lean back. So I say, well, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to catch it coming in. So that's why I figured it out.
Jose Almanzar adapting and getting his pro debut victory. Let's go back to ringside to Larry and John.
Well, when you win in your pro debut, I am very sure that's a very satisfying feeling. And for Jose Almanzar, he's going to go home happy tonight.
Yeah, but it's ringing up the second win that it's a tough part.
We'll see if he gets that one as well. More to come here in the ballroom. Don't you dare go away. Welcome back to the ballroom, Larry Michael, Jon Saraceno. And who is this man with us here at ringside? It's Charles Dutton, award-winning actor. Of course, you've seen him on TV. You've seen him in the movies. And you know what? You love boxing, don't you?
Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, man. You know, this is my hometown.
I know.
So I haven't got a chance to come down here to this venue. So
Charles being introduced here in the ballroom. And we're gonna impose on Charles here to stick with us for a couple rounds and give us some commentary on what he sees here tonight. Okay. You like the action so far?
Absolutely, absolutely. A really good card, you know what I mean? Especially some of the welterweight guys are showing a lot of promise. A couple guys made some debuts.
Right.
That, they stay serious about the game. I think they can go for places.
This man knows his boxing. Pat O'Malley in the ring with our next fight.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. The Maryland State Athletic Commission, Chairman Carl A. Milligan Jr., Executive Director Patrick Piniella, and Maryland Department of Labor, Licensing, and Regulation Secretary John O'Connor, and Ballroom Boxing of Glen Burnie, promoters Scott Wagner, and matchmakers Chris Middendorf and Josh Hall present this 8-round bout in the junior welterweight division. Your referee in charge is Kenny Chevalier. The judges, Gary Campaneschi, Bill Holmes, and Don Risher. Introducing the boxers. First to my right, out of the blue corner, wearing the gray trunks with black, weighing 140.5 pounds. He is from Miami, Florida, by way of Colombia, with a record of 12-6, 11 via the KO. Please welcome Roberto Ortega. To my left, out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with white. He weighs 141.5 pounds. He hails from Austin, Texas. He has a record of 13-1, 10 via the KO. Please welcome Manuel Rodriguez.
Rodriguez is on a roll for sure. We've seen him in the ballroom before. Jon Saraceno, what does the matchup look like?
Well, numbers pretty straightforward, Larry, and fairly even all around.
It's just our pleasure to have Charles Dutton with us here at ringside. And of course, you know, I see the way you sign your autograph rock. Of course, that was probably your most, I guess, recognized role in terms of, and most of the fans out there.
Yeah.
Which was the role that you were most proud of?
Probably a recent movie I did a couple years ago called Cookie's Fortune with Glenn Close.
And you got a lot of ability. We're gonna get to that in a little bit. In the ring right now, Manuel Rodriguez has a lot of ability in the ring. And John, you've seen him here over the last couple of fights. He is now in the rankings in the NABF, and he is a man that has really drawn a lot of attention recently.
Well, he's really come out of nowhere and been showcased on our Ballroom boxing series. Tonight he's fighting a guy that we don't know a lot about, Roberto Ortega out of Colombia.
Hey, hit a break. Let's go.
We do know his record is not what it was originally reported. Ortega's record is 15-3 with 14 knockouts. According to a Ballroom boxing matchmaker, Chris Middendorf, somebody paid a government official in Colombia to have Ortega's record actually reduced in quality, adding 3 losses. Apparently somebody had something against the Ortega camp, and the people over at Fight Facts are going to officially change his record soon. So
well, I knew you had the
a little bit of intrigue there.
I knew you had the 411, John, but I didn't know you have that much information. How about that, Charles? I mean, this man's a good reporter.
John's on top of it.
Oh, goodness gracious. Jon Saraceno ringside along with Larry Michael, joined by Charles Dutton, renowned actor. Big fan of yours, Charles. I got to tell you, I'm taking my mind away from the action having you here at ringside with me.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
But Manuel Rodriguez is a guy who I'm also a fan of because kind of a classic boxer, puncher. Watched a lot of boxing in your day?
Yeah, I watched a whole lot of fighting and did my share of it in the street.
A little bit, huh? Well, you know, you got a heavyweight champion from Baltimore, Maryland now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Makes all the Baltimoreans proud. Asim Rahman. There's a lot of respect being given right now in the ring.
Yeah, they're feeling each other out a lot.
What's on the horizon for you, Charles Dutton? What's next up for you?
You know, I'm doing a lot more directing now. You know, interesting as we speak and being here, I may be directing a fight movie, the Jackie Callan story.
Jackie Callan, the female manager.
Yes. And Meg Ryan is set to play Jackie.
Very
so
good.
It'll be my feature film debut as a director, and we'll probably start shooting sometime this summer.
Where's that going to be at?
Well, it'll be set in Detroit.
Right.
We'll shoot the exteriors in Detroit and the interiors in Toronto.
And of course, who will play James Toney, her most, I guess, famous client?
Well, we're going to do somewhat of a composite character on Tony, but you know, I probably will have some disagreements with the studio, but I want to try to find a real fighter that I can get a performance out of.
We're going to continue this conversation with Charles Dutton. Very interesting. His next movie is a fight movie, and that's just why we are here. Ballroom Boxing returns after this. Welcome back to the Ballroom. Larry Michael, Jon Saraceno ringside, joined by award-winning actor Charles Dutton. You were talking about the boxing movie that you will be directing. Is that a TV movie, a cable movie?
No, this will be feature film.
Feature film.
Yeah, for the major studio, and it'll star Meg Ryan. And
you were saying you want to find a fighter to play James Toney.
I would like to try to get a fighter and be able to work a performance out of them, because as you know, there's been a lot of fight movies. And I would rather get a real fighter to really be able to do something interesting in the fight scenes, so they're not so choreographed, you know. So we don't have to teach an actor how to box.
Let him go.
You know, and you know, it looks like that.
Right.
You know, so
what's your favorite boxing movie?
Well, I'd have to say Requiem for a Heavyweight first. And then, of course, for contemporary, it'd have to be Raging Bull.
Requiem for a Heavyweight with Anthony Quinn, I believe.
Anthony Quinn, yes.
The late Anthony Quinn.
Jackie Gleason.
Right.
And Mickey Rooney. What's that famous line? It's Monday, it's raining, and I'm in Pittsburgh.
Come on, hands are free.
Well, I'm going to audition right now for Charles Dutton, as I have had movie experience in the Only in America film, the Don King story, which Ving Rhames is in. So, Charles, you know where to find me.
I got you, my man.
Okay.
I got you.
Jon Saraceno might be there as a walk-on something. I don't know. You got a job for him, man?
Or a walk-out.
We look forward to that movie, Charles. And as a
man.
boxing fan, you know, we really look forward to that. When's that going to come out?
Well, hopefully, if we get it out, if we shoot this fall, it'll probably be out sometime next summer.
Beautiful, beautiful. Really haven't seen a lot from either of these guys, but I think Ortega showing more aggression than Rodriguez had expected.
Let him out. Hey.
Well, it's been a chess match, really. First round and a half here.
Rodriguez on that roll. He's knocking on the door of a top 10 ranking in one of the major organizations out of Austin, Texas. See some nasty welts on the back of Rodriguez.
Rope burns.
Well, people don't know there's steel cables in these ropes.
Stop. Hey, my man, come on now.
Ortega speaks no English, so Kenny Chevalier trying to get his point across. Charles, everybody comes up to you. They still say, "Hey, there's Rock," huh?
Because it really was a great series, and we had a good time making it, and it was endeared by the American public. But what people don't realize that Rock is my real nickname.
Oh, really?
I was Rock long before I was Rock.
So you're a Rock before Rockman.
we couldn't think of anything to name the show, so we just call it Rock. What the hell?
It's a great show. Charles Dutton, we want to express a lot of gratitude having you here
I
at
appreciate
ringside.
it. Thank you, guys.
And we also wish you all the best with the movie. What's the movie going to be called? Do you know yet?
Against the Ropes.
Against the Ropes.
Yes.
With a soon-to-be-named fighter playing James Tony.
That's right.
Charles Dutton,
right.
a famous actor with us. Thanks so much, Charles.
Thank you very much. Thank you too, John. All right.
Appreciate it. More Ballroom Boxing coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. And right now in the ring, Manuel Rodriguez and Roberto Ortega. John Scheinman, as always, is the third man on our crew. And John, a very, very difficult fight to score thus far.
Well, while you two guys were down there hobnobbing with Hollywood big shots, I've been keeping track of this thing. 2018, Roberto Ortega on my scorecard. This guy is extremely crafty, Larry. He's got a lot of very subtle little skills he does. He's able to come forward and attack when he wants to. He seems like he has some decent power, although not a lot of punches have been landed so far in the fight. But Manuel Rodriguez so far looks totally befuddled and hasn't found a way to get off yet.
Manuel Rodriguez, we've seen him before in the ballroom, and he's a guy that has a lot of skills and he has patience in the ring. And patience, Jon Saraceno, is something that will be very valuable against a guy like Roberto Ortega.
Well, he can't have too much patience. And let's face it, he's got to throw too, especially against a southpaw. You have to be more aggressive than with an orthodox fighter.
Round 3 brought to you by Geico Direct. I mean, Ortega is crafty. He's got the age advantage by just a year, but in experience and craftiness, I think he's got Manuel Rodriguez topped a little bit. Rodriguez has more punching power, but he's not putting it to use.
He's got to get a little bit busier. Not forget to throw the left hand, but keep throwing those lead right hands. He's only done it a couple of times.
John, I'm intrigued by the story about Ortega's record.
Hey, get out of here.
That the numbers we have here at ringside are really in conflict with each other. We have 2 records for him, 12-6 and 15-3.
Well, according to what we're told before the fight, Fight Facts is going to change that official record to 15-3 and 14 knockouts. 2 of those losses Ortega had were disqualifications, Larry, where I'm told by matchmaker Chris Middendorf he was ahead against the house fighter and then disqualified.
Both those fights in Argentina, so they brought him in there as an opponent, and he ended up getting disqualified. All of his fights have been in South America.
Yes.
This is his first fight outside of South America. Really comes in with some chopping punches.
Hey, my man. Watch that, okay? Come on.
He's also known, as referee Kenny Chevalier warns him, as being a dirty fighter. And Raul Adams will continue this in the next round.
More to come from the ballroom. Welcome back to the ballroom. Through 3 rounds, the style of Ortega, though the punch of Rodriguez knocks the mouthpiece out. The style of Roberto Ortega giving Manuel Rodriguez some problems. Rodriguez coming into this fight on a roll. He's 13-1 with 10 knockouts. And he has made a lot of people notice him over the last 6 months. Could he be risking it all here tonight, John?
Well, Raul Adams, who trains Rodriguez, said that before the fight he planned to talk to Pat Pinellas from the Maryland Commission, make sure the referees were aware that his opponent tonight, Ortega, had been disqualified twice before. And he was also going to tell his fighter, Manuel, hey, the referees don't do anything about it. Fight fire with fighter. Give him some of his own medicine. We've seen a couple warnings already given to Roberto Ortega.
The thing about Manuel Rodriguez, John, is he does not have much side-to-side movement. He's always right in front of the opponent. He's a strong puncher. He's got good boxing ability. But against a guy like Ortega, who has equal ability, needs to be able to develop some movement from side to side.
Ortega's a little slicker. And we've seen that here in the first 3 rounds.
This fight is scheduled for 8 rounds here tonight at the ballroom. I want to thank award-winning actor Charles Dutton for stuff. You think I got a role in his next movie?
I think you made some inroads there.
I think I might have.
You made some good inroads.
Nice little jab. I think Rodriguez would be smart to get that jab working a little bit here. Try to change the tempo and the rhythm of the fight his way. Eats a jab with the right hand of Ortega.
A lot on the line tonight, of course, for Manuel Rodriguez. As we talked before, he's got a potential fight against Ivo Elder August 31st on ESPN. They were supposed to fight June 3rd. Somehow that fight suddenly dissolved. But he's got to get through Roberto Ortega out of Colombia here tonight, and it's not going to be easy.
This is a challenge for Manuel Rodriguez. I mentioned his patience early. I guess the thought I was trying to say was that he needs to have the patience to get into the later rounds here without getting frustrated, without really exposing himself, and start to counter a little bit.
I think Rodriguez just got to get a little busier in this fight.
I think an inside fight might favor Rodriguez. And that's where it's headed.
On the outside, Ortega's really been kind of picking him apart.
So round 4 winding down in this 8-round welterweight showdown. Rodriguez and Ortega, more to come. Welcome back to the ballroom. Round 5 underway in this scheduled 8-rounder. Round 5 brought to you by our hosts, Michael's 8th Avenue in Glen Burnie, Maryland. And it's a perfect time to thank Mike Wagner, Scott Wagner, everyone here at Michael's 8th Avenue for the hospitality and professional approach to boxing, which we've had all year here in the Ballroom Boxing Series. We expect next season to be bigger and better than ever. Manuel Rodriguez in the black trunks. Roberto Ortega in the gray trunks. Jon Scheinman in the ill-fitting tuxedo. What is the scorecard, Mr. Scheinman?
I've got Ortega up 40-37, 3 rounds to 0 with the last round even. But I'll tell you something, I saw some signs there that Rodriguez is getting back in the fight in the last round. Ortega would be making a big mistake if he started to mix it up with Rodriguez and taking more chances, because in all my years here covering fights at the Ballroom, I think Manuel Rodriguez might be the best one-punch guy we've seen. He destroyed Del Matchett when Matchett tried to fight with him, and he destroyed Michael Warwick the same way. And if Ortega starts getting bold, he's coming into a very heavy-handed guy.
Well, in this round also, Rodriguez began to parry that jab of Ortega and throw his right hand. It's been very effective. Rodriguez came out to start the round very aggressively.
Rodriguez, a methodical fighter. He's always right there in front of the opponent, always moving forward just like he is right there. And as soon as the opposition lets the guard down, the heavy hands start to fly.
Rodriguez, because of that power John Scheinman referred to, is going to be in this fight no matter what the scorecard looks like.
Hands free. Punch out of there.
The voice of Kenny Chevalier, the referee for this battle. Good body shot by Rodriguez. Slowed Ortega down, stopped him in his tracks. Ortega has won his last 3,
Stop. Hey,
2 by knockout.
Leave the head alone. Let's go.
He has been knocked out once back in '97 in Colombia by Wilfredo Roca.
This is a real tactical fight. This is a purist kind of a fight fans fight.
Ortega beginning to retreat a little bit here, John. I don't know if he's beginning to show signs of fatigue here or whether it's his strategy, but he is moving backwards a little bit more here in this round.
I think he's really got Rodriguez off balance here a little bit. He's giving him different looks.
Real tight fight through 5 rounds. Scheduled for 8. We'll be back. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno. The 6th round underway, brought to you by www.fightnews.com. In the ring right now, Manuel Rodriguez, 13-1. Ranked number 5 by the NABF. Manuel Rodriguez hurt by Ortega. We've never seen Rodriguez hurt in a fight before.
He's pointing to his mouth. Something happened there. Besides a punch landing.
Say no. Now, what is the story there? And Ortega senses.
I wonder if he broke his jaw. He made a very funny movement, Rodriguez, when he got hit to get out of the way.
Stop. Hey, ho. Amigo. Put that head down. Let's go.
Ortega does not understand Kenny Chevalier, so you wonder.
Well, he did there because he said, mi amigo, my friend.
Real quick, guys, it was a headbutt by Ortega that wobbled Rodriguez.
Okay, it was right in front of us, but they were backing towards us. It looked like a punch had landed.
Yeah, I had a better angle.
Get Rudy in the truck to check that replay.
Amigo, that's the last warning.
Last warning for his amigo.
Nice right hand by Rodriguez. Low blow, big time low blow. I mean, he buried that thing way low.
He's going to lose a point right here.
Got one, baby.
Kenny Chevalier taking charge is only Kenny Chevalier can do. You warned him.
It's tough when you're coming from Colombia, but he just spit the bit.
Hey, maybe Raul Adams telling Pat Pinellas before the fight, we got a dirty guy here, you got to watch him.
Ortega's mouthpiece, he just spit it out. Or is it Rodriguez? No, it is Ortega's mouthpiece.
Well, I tell you, Rodriguez is in a real fight here tonight.
The mouthpiece is right in the middle of the ring. You can't see it on camera. And Rodriguez is in some trouble here.
Rodriguez has got to start firing back. I don't know why he's retreating and going to the ropes here. He's allowing Ortega to get awful confident.
Good body shot by Ortega right on the belt line.
Hey, Ortega is a very slick fighter.
Tough challenge from Manuel Rodriguez here in the Ballroom tonight.
It would be hard to believe that Ortega does have 6 losses, or even 3, the way he's fighting here tonight.
Who knows how many losses he really has. The body work of Ortega this round is just ripping through the soul of Rodriguez, who has just been sapped of his energy despite the 1-point deduction from Ortega for the low blow. He might come out of that with an even round because of the tremendous body work. Round 7 is next in this 8-round war. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Ballroom. The damage done to Manuel Rodriguez's chin was from the skull of Roberto Ortega.
Snap Rodriguez's head right around.
But the point deduction makes that a fairly even round. This is round 7 here in the ballroom, brought to you by Toyota. Perfect opportunity to bring the Natalie attired Jon Scheinman in for his scorecard through 6. What do you think, buddy?
Well, I think you're right. I thought that was Ortega's round, except the point deduction by referee Kenny Chevalier makes it a 9-9 round, most likely. It is on my unofficial card, and I have Ortega ahead 58-56 with 2 rounds to go. So Rodriguez is still within striking distance without having to score a knockdown, but he really needs to start turning it on here and mixing it up.
What do you think, Mr. Saraceno?
I got the fight even.
And the point deduction made that an even fight on your card through 6.
Looks like they clashed heads there again or came real close.
This kind of action we've grown accustomed to here on the ballroom boxing circuit. For more information on next season's schedule, check us out on the web, www.ballroomboxing.com. We'll be back in September with another tremendous card, so check us out on the web for the schedule for the upcoming season. In the ring right now, Roberto Ortega in the gray trunks. Manuel Rodriguez ranked number 5 by the NABF in the black trunks. And Ortega could be leading this fight.
Correction, I had bad math. I've got Ortega ahead by 1.
Where is it that you went to college?
I am not allowed to disclose that information. And don't ask me what my SAT scores were either.
You did go to school at the State University of Pennsylvania, did you not?
State Penn?
Rodriguez up against the ropes, about to fall through. And Kenny Chevalier comes in at the right time to break that up. Ortega really putting his will on Rodriguez, and right now, things not looking good for the man from Austin, Texas.
Well, Rodriguez's camp did not know a lot about Ortega. And they
another low blow by Ortega. Kenny Chevalier
Still low.
doesn't do anything, warns him. That was a clear low blow. I mean, it hit him square in the
cup.
Thank you.
But they're finding out right now. They've been finding out what kind of fight they're in here tonight. Looks like Rodriguez is going to really have to rally here.
Rodriguez trying to work on the counter. Ortega from the southpaw stance has been a mystery for Rodriguez through the first 7 rounds.
Ortega is really an old school kind of fighter with his movements, how he counter punches, slips.
Come on out of here.
Very tricky guy to fight.
It's a tough round to score. 3 minutes to go in this very, very tight battle in the ballroom. The deciding round will be next.
This is it, round 8.
3 minutes to go in this battle between Manuel Rodriguez, number 5 of the NABF, and unheralded Roberto Ortega in the gray trunks. A lot expected of Rodriguez in the future. He's kind of risking it all tonight here in the ballroom, and with 3 minutes to go, Jon Scheinman, who is leading this fight.
Well, Ortega just rocked him, and that's going to only help him. He's ahead 68-65 on my scorecard. I just don't think Rodriguez's people knew what they were getting into when they signed up for this fight, and he's in big trouble here right now. He's going to need a lot to turn it around.
What do you think, Mr. Saraceno?
I've got him ahead by 2, and I agree. This was the wrong fight to take with a fight on ESPN on the line.
A lot of blood from the mouth of Manuel Rodriguez. Overhand left hand by Ortega. The southpaw. Rodriguez likes to set up that right hand, likes to set up the power shots, and the style of Ortega has not allowed him to get off.
Giving him the fits in a serious way with that jab. Falling with the left hand. And his body punching has been very good when Ortega has chosen to do so. Right now, he's practically chasing Rodriguez out of the ring.
Rodriguez needs something good to happen here in this final round.
Looks like there might be a little blood coming from Rodriguez's mouth.
Step back. Hey, step back.
Step back, Mika.
Hey, Chevalier, you better get out of there. You might get caught with something.
Rodriguez waiting. He's eaten that left hand all night.
He can't figure him out.
He's a little weary right now, that left hand of Ortega.
Rodriguez with only 14 fights. I don't know if he's fought many southpaws. The lead right hand has not been an effective weapon for him here tonight. And a couple of good moments earlier in the fight. But they have dwindled now.
Rodriguez trying to find an opening, and he cannot find one. He's gone 8 rounds with Ortega, and Ortega has really had the answer for Rodriguez tonight. And you wonder about that shady record of Ortega, what his record really was, and whether Jon Scheinman is right. The handlers of Rodriguez, did they not know enough about the opponent tonight? Ortega thinks he won. Rodriguez has the advantage of that 1-point deduction from Ortega in the 6th round for the low blow. Will that be a deciding point? Has the streak of Manuel Rodriguez been snapped? We'll find out after this. Action from the 8th and final round. The very crafty Roberto Ortega sneaking in that left hand like he did all fight long. And it would seem to us here at ringside that the craftiness of Ortega was enough to dismantle Manuel Rodriguez.
Got a lot of boxing skills, using that jab, following in with the left hand, very effective throughout the night. Rodriguez never really able to solve the riddle.
Would you be tremendously shocked if Rodriguez won this?
I'd be surprised, yeah.
Let's see if Jon Saraceno is surprised. Let's get the decision from Pat O'Malley.
All 3 judges, Bill Holmes, John Gradowski, and Gary Campaneschi, score it 77-74, and the winner by unanimous decision, Roberto Ortega.
So Jon Saraceno is not surprised. Roberto Ortega, 57-54 on all 3 scorecards, and that includes the point deduction for the low blow. Actually, a dominating performance by the unheralded Roberto Ortega. Roberto Ortega earned the victory tonight, and with his interpreter, he is standing by with Jon Scheinman.
I'm here with Roberto Ortega and his manager, Rafael Gravolio, who's going to translate for us. Congratulations on your first victory in the United States. I think the first question I want to ask you is, how did you get this fight?
Dice que primero todo te felicito, hiciste una tremenda pelea, que cómo conseguiste esta pelea.
Sí, gracias a ti y gracias a la preparación que tuve con el profesor Rada.
Thank you to the preparation of my trainer Rada.
Y bueno, la verdad es que me siento muy contento de haber conseguido este triunfo aquí, ya que es mi primera.
This winner today. He really tried hard. People didn't believe in him.
You seem to be a world-ranked fighter, at least have that kind of caliber skills. Do you think that you were surprising Manuel Rodriguez with how good you were?
Que si sorprendiste a Manuel Rodríguez como mostraste lo que tú eres tan bueno, ¿lo sorprendiste?
Yo pienso que no, yo pienso que cuando uno está bien preparado, está preparado para ganar. Yo pienso que era una buena pelea y cualquiera que pusiera condiciones ganaba, y esa la impuse yo y por eso gané.
He didn't surprise it. He was trained to win, and he trained hard, and this is the result right here.
Roberto Ortega making a real splash in his U.S. debut. I have a hunch we're going to be seeing a lot more of this guy. Let's go back to ringside, Larry and John.
I'm especially impressed by the way Jon Scheinman handled that interpreter interview.
The Spanish is getting better.
Muy bien, Jon Scheinman. More to come from the ballroom. Don't go away. Welcome back to the ballroom. Larry Michael with my partner, Jon Saraceno. In the ring right now, a contrast. The young gun against the veteran. Let's get the details from Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. The Maryland State Athletic Commission, Chairman Carl Milligan Jr., and Executive Director Patrick Pinella, along with Ballroom Boxing of Michael's 8th Avenue, Glen Burnie, promoters Scott Wagner and matchmakers Chris Middendorf and Josh Hall present the main event this evening. The state commissioners at ringside are Phil Feaster and Bill McCaffrey. Maryland Department Labor Licensing and Regulation Secretary John O'Connor. The timekeeper is Tommy Canaris, is Don Risher. The physicians at ringside, the chief is Dr. Stephen Manikin, Dr. Doug Frankel, and Dr. Ian Weiner. The judges for this bout, Kenny Chevalier, John Gradowski, and Malik Waleed. And when this 8-rounder in the middleweight division gets underway, the man in charge will be Bill Holmes. Introducing the boxers. First to my right, out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks, weighing 155 pounds, from Columbus, Ohio, with a record of 54, 13, and 1. 13 via the KO. Please welcome Manning Primetime Galloway. Boxing out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with gold, weighing 159 pounds, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with a record of 18, 1, and 1. 13 by way of knockout. Please welcome Aaron Homicide Mitchell.
Aaron Mitchell and Manning Galloway in the spotlight tonight in the ballroom. Jon Saraceno, take a look at the matchup.
Well, you can look at the numbers. See both fighters around 5'9". Very similar up and down the line, except for the age. Manning Galloway, 10 years. Aaron Mitchell Sr. I think I could do without Mitchell's nickname, too. Homicide?
Manning Galloway does not look his age. I'll tell you a guy that does look his age is the up-and-coming junior middleweight contender, Jimmy Lange, who joins us here at ringside.
Let's go.
And Jimmy, you're looking good, first of all, coming off your most recent win.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, Larry.
And in the ring, we have Manning Galloway, a former world champion, WBO at that, in the welterweight division, against Aaron Mitchell. And you look at these two guys in here, Jimmy, what kind of fight are we going to see?
I don't know. Galloway's left-handed, which, you know, we don't know how Mitchell fights left-handed. We don't even know, who he trains with or anything. But, you know, that's always presents problems for boxers. But we'll have to see. We'll have to feel him out. I haven't seen these guys fight.
Take a look at this guy in the sequin trunks, Manning Galloway. John, Jimmy, this guy does not look 41 years old. I'm sorry.
No, he hadn't fought in a while. He hadn't fought in about. He's only fought once in about 6 years.
Right.
He could do a lot of push-ups and sit-ups in prison.
Yeah. Maybe
he's in good shape.
Maybe they should switch nicknames.
Jimmy, you should be a broadcaster, but you have quite a career ahead of you in the ring. So we don't want to get you in the broadcast booth prematurely.
Yeah, not yet, right?
Not quite yet, no. Take a look at Manning Galloway, a guy who has spent some time away, as they say, but he comes back and he goes right in against a very capable guy, Aaron Mitchell. Aaron Mitchell has caused some controversy in his career, bailing out of a nationally televised fight at the last minute because of some managerial difficulties.
He's also had a suspension rung up on him for a weigh-in. I guess a cheating violation, you call it. His twin brother.
Don't hold him.
And he switched places.
I know you got a lot of brothers and sisters, but you have no twin brother that you would have come in there weighing for you, would you, Jimmy Lange?
No, we haven't. I don't have a twin. But Mitchell looks very strong. You can obviously see he's much stronger than Galloway. Galloway's not really budging him with any of his shots. It's going to be a problem later.
A little sidebar to this fight. Aaron Mitchell, this fight supposed to be at the 154-pound limit, and yesterday Mitchell came in and weighed in at 161 pounds, so he had to sweat a little bit, work a little bit. They came to an agreement on the weight, and Galloway went ahead and took it.
Well, this fight was kind of made at the last minute, so it was a bit of a nightmare for the promoters to put this match together.
Manning Galloway's career began December 6th of 1978. Jimmy Lange, what were you doing in 1978?
I was sucking on a bottle, I think. I can't tell you.
How old are you now, Jimmy?
23.
23 years old. So in 1978, you were like 1 year old, right?
If that. if that.
Goodness gracious, that just tells you about Manny Galloway in the ring.
Been around a long time. He don't, like you said, he don't look that old.
He doesn't. Round one brought to you by Toyota. More to come in the ballroom. Don't go away. Welcome back to Ballroom Boxing. Tonight, round two brought to you by Budweiser. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno, joined at ringside by junior middleweight contender Jimmy Lange. And with us as well is Jon Scheinman. Jon, the first round, who did you give it to?
Well, I'll tell you something. I thought Manny Galloway acquitted himself pretty good since he's hardly been fighting for quite a while now. I gave him the round 10-9. He showed a pretty good jab, a lot of movement. You know, I actually remember him back in the...
That's a slip. Go ahead, Mr. Scheinman.
I remember him back in the day when he was a champion, and no one wanted to fight him. The other champions refused to get into the ring with him because he was extremely crafty. He was somewhat of a stinker. He was a real clutch and grab kind of guy, which he hasn't done so far here. But he's got a lot of skills, and you know, it looks like he's carried him into this late stage of his life.
Big right hand there by Aaron Mitchell, scores on the chin of Manny Galloway.
He's moving. He's moving well. But being 41, I'm worried about his legs.
They don't look like they're all there, do they?
A couple more rounds, and Mitchell seems very calm. He's reaching a little bit now, but I think he'll probably catch up to him.
Well, Galloway with only one fight since 1995. A lot of rust, timing. His legs are definitely not there.
There's not too many George Foremans.
Now they're calling that a knockdown. That is a questionable call, but I understand Bill Holmes' logic here.
Well, he would have been down if not for the ropes.
Galloway kind of flailing away. Maybe it was not a real strong punch, but he felt he needed to give him that count.
It's hard to take off 5 years and basically come back when you're 40. He's now 41 and have very much left when you're a lighter weight fighter. You know, George Foreman did it. Heavyweights carry their punch much longer and later into their careers.
Well, punch. Mitchell is so much bigger than Galloway that it's pretty evident. Every time he hits him, he's wincing. He can't handle Mitchell's power.
Jimmy, while we have you here, what's your record right now?
I'm 14-1-1.
Jimmy, what is in the future? What did the next 12 months hold for Jimmy Lange? Because a lot of fans have seen you on the ballroom boxing circuit. We've been impressed with your abilities. What are the next 12 months you think going to bring to you?
I hate to use cliches, but just fight one fight at a time. And we got something coming up in August on ESPN2, August 31st. And I'm looking to that, and maybe a tune-up before that. But like I said, one fight at a time. You know, you can't overlook anybody. That was proved here earlier with Manuel Rodriguez. You can't overlook anyone.
That's exactly right. In the wing, good overhand left there by Manny Galloway.
He's just walking through the punches. He just doesn't have the. Mitchell's too big for him. He's a 168-pounder.
Exactly right. He came in over 160 for this fight. Fight is scheduled for 8 rounds tonight. More to come from the ballroom. We'll be back. Action from the previous round, round 2. This was called a knockdown as Manny Galloway was kind of flailing all over the ring. I don't know. The referee, Bill Holmes, called it a knockdown. Larry Michael, Jon Saraceno, the man here who looks better than us, even though he doesn't have a tuxedo, is Jimmy Lange, the junior middleweight contender, joining us here at ringside. Jimmy's done a lot of damage in the ballroom, and in the future we expect some huge things from this man right here from Great Falls, Virginia.
Thank you.
In the ring, doesn't hurt that I live about 5 minutes from you, but that's okay. In the ring, Manny Galloway in the sequin trunks, and Aaron Mitchell in the black trunks with the gold trim. Jon Scheinman, how do you have this thing scored?
All even, 19-19. I couldn't see to give Aaron Mitchell a 10-8 round. I didn't think it was a knockdown. I thought Manny Galloway actually fought fairly well over the last minute and a half of that round. So it's all even on my card. And yeah, he looked a little shaky-legged, but Galloway's holding up surprisingly well against a very hard puncher so far.
He's hurt. He hit him on top of the head there.
Matter of time.
You know, John, I saw Galloway score with a straight left hand right to the jaw of Aaron Mitchell. Really nothing happened. So I think Mitchell, for him, it's just a matter of time.
He did a great job of holding on that, but he was definitely hurt. He got hit on top of the head. Now there's a headbutt there.
Mitchell is just
beating him up.
He's breaking him down piece by piece. Just like you take down a building.
Some guys use a wrecking ball, John. I guess some people take it down piece by piece.
I'd say it's more like a jackhammer.
So the reason he's fighting inside now is because his legs are gone.
Well, Galloway's scoring, Jimmy. He's scoring with that left hand, but there's really no damage being done.
It's just, I think what Jon said, a matter of time.
It's a little blood over the eye of Manning Galloway.
He got headbutted a little earlier. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I saw that it was a pretty bad headbutt.
There's some blood on the face of Aaron Mitchell. I believe that is Galloway's blood.
It's really hard to see in a fight like this what kind of fighter Mitchell is. He's a very skilled fighter. Got a lot going for him.
You look at him, he's got a real big upper body, Jimmy, but he's got some pins for legs. If you were in the ring against Aaron Mitchell, how would you attack him?
I think I'd probably bring a sledgehammer in the ring with me. No, I'd try to work, frustrate him, let him run into stuff. If I was in the ring with him, I'd be as big as him. I wouldn't be 154 pounds fighting a 168 pounder or whatever he is, but I'd be as big as him, and I'd be able to keep him off with my punches. So I'd definitely work the ring, move around, and jab and let him get desperate.
You know, Galloway at the weigh-in said, I'm 154. That was the contracted weight. I'm here at that weight. And you wonder if it was a good decision after the long layoff to come in against a guy as big and strong as Aaron Mitchell.
Confidence. He's got confidence. We'll see if it's a mistake or not.
Round 4 is next here in the ballroom. Action from round 3. Aaron Mitchell in the black trunks with the gold waistband, kind of elbowing Manning Galloway. Larry Michael with Jon Saraceno and Jimmy Lange here at ringside, the up-and-coming junior middleweight.
This Galloway is very tough. He's definitely come to fight.
He's a Philly.
I don't see any quit in him.
Yeah, he's a Philly guy, through and through.
Galloway firing away, and you got to give him a lot of credit after the long layoff to come in against a highly touted guy like Aaron Mitchell. There's a right hand of the body uppercut with the right hand as well. So Galloway's got the package. Maybe he doesn't have enough power, though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He doesn't have the sticks right now. His legs are slowly going on him. You know what? I mean, he's in there. He's trying. He's not laying down.
Trying to score with the uppercut inside. Aaron Mitchell just sitting there laying on him.
He's definitely hitting him. He's hitting him a lot. You know, he may be outscoring him really, but
not as effective as Mitchell.
It's just no. You see him wilt every time he.
Oh, hit him! Almost like you see the air come right out of him.
There you go.
Mitchell really not punching a lot, though. So maybe the style of Galloway taking Mitchell away from some of the things he wants to do.
I don't think. I think he realizes that it's a matter of time. And as we say that, he's landing big shots. So
Galloway really laying into Mitchell. Blood coming from the nose of Aaron Mitchell. And you know what? He did not train properly. He came in heavy for this fight. And Aaron Mitchell looks to be a little bit of trouble right here, right now.
I'll tell you what, Galloway landed a short uppercut on the inside when he had him on the ropes. Really woke Mitchell up. I think Mitchell probably figured this guy's getting ready to go and busting him down as we were talking about, but Manning Galloway showing no quit here.
You can look at him and tell he's in great shape. Just the age, it usually doesn't hold up.
Right.
You got the age, but you have the experience.
So far, I'm being proved wrong, though.
And you have the conditioning to some regard in the favor of the older man.
Well, I'm not sure.
Who came in at his best weight. Aaron Mitchell came in a little bit heavy.
See where he's doing now, though? Mitchell's going downstairs. And what legs Galloway has, he's not going to have a lot left.
I'm telling you, fellas, don't sell him short. I think Aaron Mitchell might have thought this was going to be a walk in the park against an old man. And we still have a long way to go in this fight.
Galloway's
a good right hand by Mitchell, though.
I think the key, I don't know if Jimmy agrees with this, is for Mitchell to go downstairs and keep a sustained body attack.
Absolutely. If you look at Galloway, he's breathing heavy out of his mouth, and which is a big problem.
In other words, don't really try to knock him out per se. The knockout will come.
Yeah, knockout always
slow him.
Never can knock somebody out when you're trying. You know, very rarely. Knockouts always come. You say,
gotta break him down.
How do you go down from that? Yeah.
Good round for the veteran Manning Galloway. Aaron Mitchell
Finished
The
it with a
stronger, younger fighter finishes with a flurry. Round 5 is next, scheduled for 8 here in the ballroom. Action from round 4 as Manning Galloway had some moments with Aaron Mitchell up against the ropes.
Should be a short uppercut in here. Boom. That was a body shot.
Kind of got him right into the
There
chest.
was a right.
There's the uppercut.
That looked blocked.
Yeah. He threw a right uppercut in that sequence some there that landed.
I want to bring Jon Scheinman in here. John, you've touted Aaron Mitchell highly. Might he have taken Galloway lightly?
Well, I think you guys made an excellent point when you talked about the weight that Aaron Mitchell came in at. He obviously came in a little bit out of shape for this fight. I've seen him put on superb performances here and walk through guys a lot bigger than this. But let's not sell Manning Galloway too short here. He's a former world champion who made a lot of title defenses, and no one wanted to fight him in his heyday. I got Galloway ahead 39-37 through 4 rounds.
Surprise on Scheinman's scorecard, having Manning Galloway ahead. Jon Saraceno, do you concur?
No, actually, I've got the kid from Philly ahead, Aaron Mitchell, by 1.
So, regardless, a pretty close fight, Jimmy Lange.
Yeah, I actually have it 2-2. I thought he outworked him the first and fourth round. Galloway, that is.
Question is, will the older man have the better conditioning?
Step back.
Typically, that is not the case, but you never know on a given night.
Manning Galloway with 68 fights, probably the best name on his record. In 1983, Nino LaRocca.
Nino LaRocca, golly, you're going back a long way, Jon Saraceno.
He lost a 10-round decision in Italy.
Gives you an idea of the background of Manning Galloway. Aaron Mitchell's been an East Coast fighter. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Maryland, D.C. So we're getting into these middle rounds, Jimmy Lange, where you know if your conditioning is there during these middle rounds when you're looking for that second wind and you're waiting for it to kick in.
I think so. I think you don't need a second round in the 5th round. You know, you got to get in a little later, maybe the 8th or 9th. And by the 5th round, you should still be on your first wind. But
I'm trying to figure out what Mitchell's doing here.
It also has to do with knowing how to fight. You know, the more experience you have, the more you know how to kill rounds and
conserve energy.
Talk about conserving energy. That's what Mitchell's doing here.
I don't know, Johnny. He's giving this little pity pat inside. I'm not so sure what's going on here with Aaron Mitchell. Big left hand by Galloway. Catches Mitchell on the ropes.
Galloway's winning.
Big counter shot by Mitchell. Has Galloway hurt.
That should have been a knockdown.
It should have been. He was out for a moment. Now he's trying to hold on.
You better hold.
Plenty of time left in this round.
Mitchell,
see, that should be stopped. You got to wipe his gloves.
Good call there. Mitchell getting very careless and wild.
Galloway is hurt. He walked into a right hand.
He's
you
still
can
hurt
see it
bad.
on his face. And he might make it through this round. Just barely.
What guts by Manning Galloway, 41 years old.
Round 6 is next in the ballroom. This fight is scheduled for 8.
So that was a shot.
Great action still to come. Ballroom Boxing is brought to you by Toyota, by Geico Direct, by Budweiser, the king of beers, and by 0to80.com outlet for e-business. Welcome back to the ballroom action from the 5th round. As Manning Galloway was trying to impose his will, it was that short right hand that caught him.
Stopping the fight.
Right there, and Manning Galloway is in no condition to continue, and this fight is over.
Ringside physician instructing Bill Holmes to call a halt to the action.
Aaron Mitchell will win by TKO, running his record to 19-1-1 with 14 wins by KO, as Manning Galloway cannot recover from that right hand. Jimmy, that surprised you a little bit, didn't it?
I was surprised. I don't know what the call was. I don't know whose call it was, if it was the doctor's or his. I said earlier I don't think he'll quit, but I don't know if he quit or.
No, he didn't. I saw the doctor tell Bill Holmes that the fight's over.
Yeah, you can tell this guy's got heart.
He was hurt badly at the end of that
Very
round,
badly.
and he's
He was
41 years old.
He's exhausted,
yeah,
too. So
you got to take everything into consideration.
But he gave it. I mean, he definitely came to fight. We saw a good fight.
I want to thank Jimmy Lange for stopping by. Jimmy,
thank you very much for having me.
Good luck
Larry,
in
John.
your future endeavors. We know you are headed for the big time, brother. Jimmy Lange. A lot to be heard from that young man in the future. And right now in the ring, Aaron Mitchell proudly strutting his stuff after a TKO victory over Manning Galloway. A little surprised to the end of that, Jon Saraceno.
Well, I thought it was a shocking kind of way the fight developed, because I thought Mitchell was going to go right through Manning Galloway. It didn't look like Galloway had his legs early on. There's action, I believe, from the last round.
Let's take a look at how this fight ended. This is not how it ended, but this was the beginning of the end. The counter right hand coming up right here. And that was the punch that meant the beginning of the end for Manning Galloway. He would not answer the bell for the 7th round. Well, let's get the official word from Pat O'Malley.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. The winner by TKO, 3 minutes, round 5, Aaron Homicide Mitchell.
So Aaron Mitchell is victorious, his 19th win as a pro. And Jon Saraceno, you take a look at Aaron Mitchell. He's got a lot of ability. Does he need to commit himself a little bit more to the sport? At which point, if he does, might he make a bigger splash in the world rankings?
Well, that's a hard question to answer. We don't know what he's doing in the gym. Maybe he thought with Manning Galloway, a 41-year-old man who had been out of the ring for 5 years, he didn't have to train that hard. And that happens to young fighters. They tend to overlook what they're supposed to be doing, and they don't take care of business. And maybe it was a wake-up call tonight for Mitchell.
We're going to find out what Aaron Mitchell has to say, standing by with John Scheinman.
Aaron, 41-year-old ex-world champion Manning Galloway came in here and gave you a really tough fight. Were you surprised at how sharp he was, considering, you know, he's just been out of the boxing picture for so long?
Not really. Anything that he was throwing, actually, I'm a lot sharper. That's why the punches that he was throwing, sneaky shots, usually that's my stuff. But you guys didn't see it tonight. You know, hopefully you see it next time. But I'm ready for any and everybody. My heart is big as Broad Street. My man Twin right here, Machine Gun Mitchell. I'm Homicide. I was off for a little bit. My career is being delayed every now. You know, I'm not training the way we want, but I'm not worried about it. That was De La Hoya. I still would have hung in there, and I know me. I'd have came through. You ain't seen nothing. You haven't seen me.
It seemed to us at ringside that you were going to try to work downstairs on this guy and break him down with short body shots. And I know that's one of your little tricks that you like to do, deceptively powerful shots. Was that one of the things you were working on there?
Basically, I knew this guy couldn't punch me for the way he was punching me for 8 rounds. You know what I mean? Bernard Hopkins, you know, middleweights. Anybody out there, if it was Shane Mosley, none of them going to punch me as volume as punches as that man was throwing at me, and don't get tired. You see me, I'm not even tired. I was pacing myself, and like I said, I didn't even get started yet.
Very rambunctious Aaron Mitchell here. He's looking for big things in 2001. Let's go back to ringside to Larry and John.
All right, John Scheinman, Aaron Mitchell hoping for bigger and better things in the future. This has been a pretty good season of ballroom boxing, Jon Saraceno.
Yeah, I'm sad to see it come to an end for another year. We'll be back in the fall, but hey, it's been fun.
Couple months hiatus. We'll be back with you in the fall, folks. For Jon Saraceno and Jon Scheinman, I'm Larry Michael. We'll see you next season for Ballroom Boxing.